G'day guys, welcome back. This is Going Off Grid. I'm Andrew, and in this video we're going to be installing the Teraflex Lockout hub kit. Let's go! Alright guys, welcome back. So this is the Teraflex front lockout hub kit and also the rear full float axle, which they sort of come together as a bit of a package. They got tons of different options, but I've just gone with the solid, because you get big brakes as well. So I've got solid big brakes front and rear, and it's obviously to suit a Sport, JK, Rubicon, a bit different axles and stuff. But yeah, this is the kit, and pretty excited to get started on it, to be honest. So you'll see here these little axle shafts. So on my Jeep I've got currently got RCV axles. So these are what come stock with the Teraflex kit, and you just bash out your end on your stock axle shaft and then put these new ones in which work with the kit. But they wouldn't work for me because I've got the RCVs, and because I've got aftermarket front axle, I've got the Pro Rock 44 in mine. It's also got different axle shafts in that, so it's going to be pretty tricky to find those axle shafts to suit this new stub. So I got hold of RCV, and they've sent me an RCV stub which suits this kit, and I can just connect that onto my current RCV. So I'll just have to do a little bit different install compared to what the kit comes with, so I won't need any of these unis or these stubs. So that'll be a really strong end on mine, and I can continue using the RCVs. And the other thing you're going to need with this kit, if you don't have one, especially if you're in Australia like I am, is a spindle nut for Dana 60. Pretty much can't get these in Australia anywhere. I just had to order one online. So if you're planning to do the kit on a weekend and you don't have one of these, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to get it installed. So make sure you order one of these for like 20 bucks before you get started. Yeah, so these are the rear brakes. These are just a bigger rotor, and there's a different caliper there, so a bit more leverage on the back. Doesn't actually change your back brakes too much. It just makes it further out, so you got more leverage on the rear. And then the front brakes, whole new calipers, big double piston suckers and bigger rotors, so that's going to be a hell of a lot different, I reckon. And then yeah, all the rest of the kit, we'll go through that as I'm installing it. I've actually had a bit of a battle. Teraflex have mucked up my kit a little bit when I unboxed it, and I noticed that I didn't have my spindle nuts for my new rims. They're included in the kit, so all of the lug nuts, and the little socket adapter, so they had to resend that. They just left it off accidentally, which wasn't a big deal. But then when I finished unboxing everything, I noticed that for some reason these are the rear knock-in spindles. I got sent one of each of these. I don't know what this one's for, but they're obviously completely different, so they had to send me a new one that matched. So then this one's junk, basically. I don't know what that's for. But then I also noticed that I was supplied two different rear axle shafts, and what they'd done is sent me these are the Sport ones. So these are the 30 spline Sport rear axle shafts. They sent me a 32 spline Rubicon one accidentally, so then they had to send a new axle shaft as well. So luckily I hadn't started the install, and I wasn't halfway through ripping my car apart till I realised that the axle shafts were different. So yeah, bit of a picking error there or something, but they express posted me some new ones, no fuss. So I've got a spare Rubicon axle shaft, which I don't know if that's going to be helpful for anyone. It's probably going to go as into the bin, but yeah. So that's a basic overview of everything. Just about ready to roll the Jeep on in and pull it together. These are the rims that I sourced, second-hand rims, 8 lug. They were a bit scratched up and I gave them a bit of a spray paint, and I'm actually going down to 35-inch tyres from the 37s that I've got, just because where I've moved to, I don't really need 37s anymore, so just going to downsize a little bit less stress, and yeah, a bit more sensible for this area. It's mostly just a bit of beach driving and some sand and stuff, so that should be a bit nicer on the highway. So yeah, ready to pull the Jeep in, and let's strip it down. Well, now I've got stock brakes out. It's probably a good chance to just compare. So you can just see the size difference in the new rotor, and then obviously the new caliper is quite a bit bigger. If I line that up there, we're a fair bit bigger, and that's the stock brake pads on the new brake pads, so much more substantial. Righto, a bit better look at the axle situation. So this is my RCV I've had in the Jeep, and then this is the new stub end which I got supplied from RCV, so I've got to swap that out, and then I should be ready to go. But if you had stock axles, this kit comes with the kit, and then you just pop out your uni and jam that one on the new end on your stock axle. But for me, got to swap those out. That was easy. So I've hit my first little snag, and it's because of the RCV stub axles that I've got on my kit. So this is obviously the supplied one, and it's supposed to just slide straight through this spindle nicely and come out the other end. But I think the machining on the RCV is just a little bit prouder splines, because it's a really tight fit, and I even tried like pressing it in, and it's really pretty tight there. So I've just sanded them down a tiny bit, and I'm probably going to have to put that in the oven just to expand it, because this is what the splines fit into, and on the Teraflex stub it slides in there nicely, and there's like a tiny bit, just a tiny bit, you can feel a bit of wiggle room in the splines, but this one also slides in perfectly and it feels solid. So they're the same size, it's just I think these ridges are a tiny bit bigger, and it's just stopping me getting it through this little spindle. So I'll probably have to put this in the oven, expand it, give them a tiny bit of a sand and then try and get it on. So fun and games. Try that. Oh, that's better. I think we might have got it. I said it's only just the tiniest amount, just enough for it to slide in. There's pretty fine tolerances, but I'd rather just sand this down a bit rather than heat this in the oven, I decided, because this will be locked on if I do it that way. But if I just sand this down a tiny bit, I'll be able to remove this spindle when it's on the vehicle, so be a bit better. I think that's it. So it's just the tiniest bit, and good to go. Just get this boot on with the old cable tie trick. I think that's it. All right. Alright, that's the front pretty much done. Got all the brakes on, hub on. I still got to refill the diff with oil, but I'll do that at the end. Looks all pretty good. I notice these are quite stiff. I might have to use a thinner oil just for the O-rings. I need to, yeah, fiddle with that a bit. But yeah, all good. Now onto the rear. Now you guys don't have to do this, but while I'm draining the diff, I'm going to take the cover off and have a bit of a look and clean up the back diff with all this rust. So I'm just going to do that now. Quick look at the rear brakes. So these are the stock rotors, just got them lined up there, and these are the Teraflex. You can see they're quite a bit bigger, and they use the same actual brake pads, but the bracket obviously just stands out a bit more to allow for the extra rotor size, so a bit more leverage because it's braking from further out on the rotor. So yeah, chuck them in. I tried to put that spindle in earlier, it only got stuck halfway and I just couldn't budge it. It was a bit too tight. I had to rig up a bit of a press from the other side and punch it back out, which took me half the day. It's just really tight on my axle. I'm thinking maybe my axle's a tiny bit bent or something, but I'm just going to heat it up and then try and press it in again once it's hot. We'll see how we go. So I still can't get it. You can see there how far off I am. It's just rubbing here and also rubbing in there. So I'm just going to tidy this up a little bit more with some sandpaper and do the same on the... I've started to give this one a scrub. The same on this one. It's getting just there, about 10 mil off the shoulder it needs to get to. So I'm going to sand them all up, chuck this in the freezer overnight, heat that up again and have another go tomorrow because yeah, it's becoming a pain in the ass. All right, it is a new day. Got the goods out of the freezer. Gonna heat up this axle and see if we can get them in. After the 5th go, I got it. Just a lot of extra sanding, and I had to get the axle red hot and the spindle frozen, and it's pressed right in. So that is a tight fit. Once I do these plug welds, probably not even going to need them, but I don't think that's ever going to move. So on to the other side. I'm not a welder, but that's not too bad after a bit of a clean-up. They look strong anyway, that's the main thing. Righto, that's about it. Got the brakes on, got the hubs on. I just filled up the diff and ready to drop it down and put my big shiny new wheels on. So there's the old 37s which were on it, the Mickey Thompsons, and then the 35s that I'm going to on the new 8 lugs. And it was just about time to change tyres anyway, so chuck the old ridge grapples on and see how we go. So a slight disaster, went to take it for a spin and I got the full Christmas tree, and I got a hot oil message here and a fault came up, which was the U0101 or something, which basically was not talking to the TCM module, or can't communicate with TCM. Took it down the road to the mechanics and they plugged in the good scan gauge and not getting any readings from the front 2 ABS or speed sensors. So I'm guessing that's all related, so I have to go home and pull it apart and see what it looks like. Alright, back at it, and I think I found the culprit. So wheel speed sensor goes down in that hole. You probably won't be able to see because it's pretty dark, but the tone ring just covers that hole a tiny bit. And when I pulled my sensors out, I could see that the sensor's actually been rubbed by the tone ring and was crushed. and I could actually hear a bit of arcing and stuff up in the engine bay when I pulled this sucker out. And after a bit of googling and wondering why it was happening to me, turns out there's two different types of speed sensor you can get for the JK. One of them, which seems to be the more common one, is a little bit skinnier, and the one that I had, for some reason, was just a solid round tube, and it was too fat to clear the tone ring in there. So I'm hoping when I put this new one in, it's going to clear it as it was designed, and it'll also clear the fault, fingers crossed, and nothing else has gone wrong. So I'll do that now and we'll give it another go. Alright, that did the trick. So the skinnier ones worked. No more lights. Well, that's it. It all works, locked and unlocked. And I've got to say, just cruising on the highway, the Jeep has never been so quiet. It's unbelievable the amount of noise that's been eliminated from having the front axle not turning. Basically, it's just so smooth. So definitely going to be handy on any long road trips and stuff. So pretty happy. And the steering is also probably a tiny bit lighter as well. So all in all, happy days. So thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed what you saw, hit the subscribe and all the rest of it, and see you next time. Cheers.